Hey everyone, welcome to the Entertainmates. Justin here with our 5th MMO review. Today we're doing Guild Wars 2. This is our middle one, because we've done 5, or this is the 5th. And we're halfway through our 10-part series, and it's gonna be great, and I hope it's great. But either way, please enjoy the show. Guild Wars 2 was released in August of 2012 by ArenaNet. 3 years later, in 2015, almost to the day, the base game of Guild Wars 2 became free to play with the launch of its first expansion, Heart of Thorns. Now in 2018, Guild Wars 2 has 2 expansions, and both can either be purchased separately or together, and each story experience is unique, not requiring the purchase of the other to access. Guild Wars 2, like its predecessor, is a buy-to-play model with a real money store stocked with cosmetic items. Guild Wars 2 has a lot to cover, so let's start with the first thing, character creation. The world of Tyria has 5 playable races. The Azura, a small race with really big brains. The Sylvari, a plant-based species and the closest thing to an elf. Humans, who are human. The Norn, a Norse-like people, who kind of remind me of the Nords from Elder Scrolls. And the Char, a dog-like people living in a stratocracy, who would have pretty cool designs if I'm being honest. There are 9 playable classes, 8 with the base game and 1 that is exclusive to purchasing an expansion. They are Mesmer, Guardian, Necromancer, Ranger, Elementalist, Warrior, Thief, Engineer, and the Revenant being the final and expansion exclusive. I'm not going to go into every single detail on these, but their roles should be pretty self-explanatory. After selecting your race and class, you dye your armor and answer a few questions about your character's background before being taken into one of the 5 starting zones. From there, you begin your adventure in Tyria. Guild Wars 2 leveling is done in a few ways. You have Renowned Hearts, which are one-time only quests scattered throughout the area. You can get experience points by exploring different points on the map, grinding resources or making items from the professions, vistas at which you see a cinematic of the area around you, dynamic events, quest-like scenarios that every player can participate in for XP and rewards, and finally, the personal story quests. The meat of the game is in the personal story, which you unlock every 10 levels and forge your character's life and destiny in Tyria. And let me tell you, from what I have seen, the story quests are very well done. While maybe not the most engaging stories ever told, they're interesting enough to certainly keep me playing. The combat in Guild Wars 2 is addictively fun. A streamlined action bar system lets you pick which skill you want on auto attack and lets the rest be manually activated. The Diablo-esque health meter is in front and center, keeping it in view even if you tunnel vision an enemy. You never have to stand still when fighting, and the game actively rewards that. As similar to Final Fantasy XIV, there are tells on the ground for AoE or cone attack warnings. They're a bit more subtle than 14's, and I prefer the red circle of death over a big flashy yellow circle for sure. The result is more of an action game feeling than an MMO. While for me, old habits die hard, and I'll move around a bit sparingly, this game is without a doubt the most fun I've ever had with a thief or spellcaster class. In fact, my only real complaint is the inverted camera controls, but this is fixed with the action camera mode, lending itself to that action game feeling I was just speaking about. PvP in Guild Wars 2 comes in 2 different varieties, the first being your standard small party versus party combat on various maps where you compete to be the first team to 500 points, and World v World, or WVW. These are bigger battles between servers that unlock at level 60 for free players and level 31 for anyone who's purchased an expansion. Note that in PvP, you are using a completely different set of skills and stats, and in World v World, your level is adjusted to level 80 for the duration of your time on the map. World vs. World is used to make it easier for players who are not ready to do the PvP experience, as they include not just different sized party objectives, but also include PvE objectives, such as puzzle solving or hero challenges. Guild Wars 2, or at least the world I played on, is a pretty active game. I see plenty of players running around the world, and a few active guilds. And the world chat is pretty friendly. Now, I did play it at release, and back then, the game certainly felt a lot more alive, and ArenaNet doesn't have a good way to get a player census. I would hazard to guess that a few million people have purchased and played the game. Actively, I have no way of knowing, but it certainly isn't some ghost town. Finally, I haven't spoken much about the atmosphere of Guild Wars 2. It's fantastic. The music is phenomenal, and it really adds to locations I find myself getting lost in. There are enough little villages and critters among all the monsters and other bandits and whatnot running around, along with the dynamic events that make Tyria feel alive. Even just the random NPC citizens walking around that have nothing to do with quests or vendors add to that living feeling. Though I really want to know why I spoke to 5 different vendors and all they sold were cupcakes. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but like, why only cupcakes? Seems kind of hard to make a living if you only sell cupcakes and the same ones that the guy 3 feet away from you has been selling for the same price, day in and day out. But I digress. The scores are on the screen now. Please remember that these scores are only for the base game, which is now free to play and a full release worth of content, with almost nothing behind a paywall. I assume, as with previous reviews, I will go back and give each expansion its own review, but until then, Guild Wars 2 base game is almost a masterpiece for the genre, a good entry point for people wanting to explore MMOs, and a breath of fresh air if you're used to the traditional models from previous reviews. I would highly recommend this game to anyone who wants to give it a shot. So I hope you all enjoyed the review. I really enjoyed playing Guild Wars 2. It was a lot of fun. I really don't have much else to say other than what I, said in the review. Honestly, it's been the best one I've played so far, and that's saying a lot, because I did have a lot of good times with Final Fantasy XIV and other games. But it's time to figure out what we're playing next, so I'm gonna roll the D10. And it went too far. And we'll be playing Blade and Soul next. Blade and Soul. I have no idea what my opinions on Blade and Soul will be. I'm not doing another take of this. I'm gonna leave the stuttering in there. Now you know the real me. Not the me that will, stop recording and then keep recording. And are you fading out? Thanks for watching the Entertainmates. If you enjoyed that, please check out some of our other videos that'll be on the screen now. And please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You can also check out our Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone.